Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 235. That's 235. All my fingers. I'm using all my fingers because I can count like a big kid. For June 21st, 2017, my name is Russell Frost. I am your host this week, but luckily for you and for me, there's more than me to deal with. No, I am replete with three of my favorite panelists, so let's introduce them and get the show started. First and foremost, a man who has a bottle opener he's very proud of, and I hope he's going to show off right now, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, good to be back, and yes, I was playing with my new camper bottle opener, but I already opened it, so you can't see it work, but boy, thank you very much.
We are getting really bad video from you tonight, Paul, but we did see the bottle opener.
Really?
Yeah, it's really stuttery.
I hold it still.
Yeah, there we go. That's
that
good.
Better?
Yeah.
Sorry, crappy
There we go.
Comcast.
Paul's exciting Vanagon bottle opener. Next to Paul, the little shining face from Chicago, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Hi, everybody, and hi, everybody in the chat. Still just trying to figure out the live chat, so I'm chatting tonight, and I just want to say hey to everybody. Happy Wednesday evening.
It is Wednesday. And because it's Wednesday, I'll introduce our third panelist, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Man, am I ever lucky it's Wednesday, or I wouldn't have gotten introduced. So
You'd just like this dude. I'm like, who's the other dude?
would have just sat here quiet and just watched.
No, you could talk. You just wouldn't be introduced. But on this show, you have a lower third. Like, oh wait, I have a lower third.
Everyone's got a lower third.
Yeah, everyone does. Not on the other show though, where Russell's anonymous throughout the show. So, having taken that blow to my ego, kids, let's start this off with a little thing Patrick Connor calls Russell's rant. My rant this week comes from a conversation I had with a What Drives Us listener, a gentleman named Bruce Myers, very nice guy. We were talking about, well, Bruce has a Prius C. He drives a big rig, a big tractor trailer for a living, loves his Prius C, thinking about a new Prius, and wait for it. Can you already hear this coming? Wants a Prius Prime. What do you think his problem was? Yeah.
Finding one.
He's
They don't exist.
They don't exist. It's he lives in or around Atlanta, Georgia. No one down there will claim to knowing when a Prius Prime will be there, how much exactly they are. Maybe they're more expensive than sticker, maybe not. Maybe you just can't get one at all. We've covered this a few times. I kind of played around with one of the local dealers who said that the Prius Prime didn't exist. And then when I drove it onto his lot, he was kind of like, so, I know that this is one of those intractable problems. This is a problem that doesn't have a solution. Okay. Because this is an issue between Toyota, the company that does business distributing cars from the Japanese company, whether they're made here or made in Japan, and the various dealers and the distributors that have brokered up the United States. And it's not going to change. The dealers are only going to support some products and they're not going to support others because Toyota, in their manifest wisdom or ignorance, decides to roll out a car regionally, whether they say nationally or not. I'm not saying anyone's lying. I'm just saying, you know what? It's hard. At some point you just got to think maybe all the cars are going to California because nobody anywhere else can get one. I don't know. But these are the things we have to speculate about because we don't have evidence and we don't have testimony and we don't really know. All we know is that people all over the country, one of whom might even be on this show.
Is that my cue? Was that subtle?
No, I didn't. You know what? We didn't even discuss this. This wasn't even a cue. And I don't even know if you want to talk about it. But I mean, one of whom might even be on this show went out of state to purchase a vehicle, hoping maybe he'd be able to get it sooner and is on like a 90-day-ish
90
waiting
day
list.
waiting list.
90-day-ish.
Yeah. So yeah, my story is, well, I had, of course, I'm on Prius Chat, one of the moderators there, and I've been reading the Prime forum, and people have been posting, and some of the people who have purchased Prius Primes have posted on Prius Chat that they have bought one-way tickets to other states, East Coast, West Coast states. And the crazy thing is they're buying cars off the lots, and Toyota is giving cashback incentives on Prius Primes because the cars are sitting on lots. Meanwhile, I'm here in the Chicagoland area. I haven't seen a single one in the wild. And like Russell, if I contact dealerships, they just laugh and try to sell me a FJ Cruiser or something.
Right. An $80,000 10-mile-a-gallon car.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how these cars have been distributed. I get it. They hit the carb states, so they're on the coasts. But the fact of the matter is, they're saturated. It's time to start bringing them inland.
We've talked about this over the years on What Drives Us, whether it's a Volt rollout or a Prius plug-in rollout that was these like regional rollouts. I'm not really sure whose interest they serve. I mean, I think they just serve the car companies that want to sell things in carb states. I suspect it has nothing to do with consumers or demand or anything else. I suspect it has everything to do with that and nothing else, because it doesn't seem to serve anyone else.
But the dealer I ended up going to is out of state, like you said. And the reason I went out of state is because the dealer I chose to go to is Smart Toyota in Madison, Wisconsin. And there's a gentleman there named John Dolan, who's their hybrid specialist. And I got to know him through Green Drive Expo, previously Hybrid Fest. And he is as interested in hybrids as I think we on this panel are. He is very knowledgeable, and he drives a Prime, charges it right there on the dealership. They have a charging station. It's just a well-rounded place to buy a hybrid car. John knows his stuff. Unlike any dealership I've walked into in the Chicagoland, and especially here in the Chicagoland area. So I have no problem going to Madison. It's a fun place to hang out anyway. But what really got my attention in the first place is they are part of a group of dealerships that if someone needs a car, then they just call around to these dealerships. And they had been bringing in cars from New York State where there were more cars than buyers. And they were actually transporting them to Madison. So that they could sell them here. That's how Madison was getting cars. They were literally just trading them with other dealerships. And then apparently Toyota cracked down and said, no, you can't do that anymore. And apparently I missed the window of opportunity. And so now I'm on, like you said, a 90-day wait estimate. So yeah, I mean, for anyone out there who's interested in a Prime and there's not one to be found and you're hearing about a wait list and all of that, I'm right there with you. I'm living the dream.
Yay! Again, there's no solution to this. This is one of these things that happen because of the way the business is structured in this country. And it's not going to be restructured anytime soon, probably not within any of the lifetimes of any of the people watching this show or on this show. So just deal with it. But nonetheless, it's fair for us to call it out and go, you know what? This crap you guys are pulling is all about you and not about us. And thanks for screwing us over, because we just want to buy your products. Go figure.
Yeah, and like I said, some of the people are desperate enough. I don't want to say desperate, but ambitious maybe.
Willing to travel.
And in some of these, if you go to Toyota's website and you look up incentives and you enter multiple zip codes, and I actually pulled up a map of zip codes and I was putting zip codes from other states and the carb states, and if you're willing to pay a $150 one-way ticket and maybe $100 at a hotel, you're in for $250. You buy a card, you can get $2,000 cash back, and then you drive it home.
Wow.
Right.
So I mean,
what state
an option.
did you find has the best?
What's interesting is it's even locations within states. And after about 20 minutes, I had dedicated way too much of my life to this and just stopped. But I looked around the congested areas of New York, and I was around Boston. And then if you start getting, and then I figured, well, if I went like Western New York, then I wouldn't have to drive as far back. But the incentives like run out when you get, over there. And yeah, it's a lot of just localized, it's very specific. That's all I can say is, if you're interested, then I suggest that if you're that into it and you want to do it, pull up a map of zip codes and go to Toyota's site and see where you can get the best incentives. $2,000 cash back and 0% financing is the best that I've found. Fly out, buy a car, you'll save money in the long run.
And you'll get it faster.
I know someone here who did that. They were out in Maryland and they walked into a dealer and drove one away. So,
yeah.
Look around. Meanwhile, in Colorado, they're telling people, 3 to 6 months waiting list.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
The best state rebate in the country on a Prius Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Toyota, why don't you just send a freight train full of them here? Yeah.
And I will tell you the one thing that really stops me from doing something like that. I mean, I don't want to just show up at a dealer and see what they have, for one, because to me that's kind of really hit and miss, and you certainly can't trust the online inventory that the dealerships post. And I'm still old school. I just get nervous about conducting business with someone I've never met with something as big a purchase as a new car. And yeah, I just don't trust car dealerships is what it comes down to. I know. I had to say that.
And
How could you say that out loud?
Salespeople.
Really?
I know. So the idea of getting in a plane, flying a few hours to be, 500 miles from home, and then have someone pull a bait and switch just doesn't appeal to me.
We just sold that one half an hour ago.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got. Can I move on to the next news item?
Yep.
This is another sort of rant of mine, and I'm going to keep it non-ranty because I was going to go full on ranty, but I think I went pretty ranty on that one. So, Ford announced. I'm not going to get political either, I promise. Ford announced that it's going to cease production of the Focus in North America entirely. They were talking about building the Focus in Mexico because, of course, it couldn't possibly be built in the United States for reasons. And they've said now, no, the labor's far too expensive in Mexico. They're going to build the Focus in China. One of my great takeaways from this is Joe Hinrichs, Ford's president of global operations, said in a conference call Tuesday, quote, "We've done a lot of research and consumers care a lot more about the quality and the value than they do about the sourcing location," which has got to be the goddamn dumbest thing I've ever heard any human say. Because, of course, location of production has no impact whatsoever about the quality. But let's skip that over for a moment and go to the second half of
all Chinese products are amazing quality when you
Absolutely.
buy something that's made in China. They're like the absolute world's best.
The second half of the statement is really where Mr. Hinrichs brings it home, and this is why he's obviously president of global operations. He said, and I quote, "iPhones are produced in China, for example, and people don't really talk about it." Which is funny because I hear about people bitching about Apple products produced in China constantly. And let's be realistic, Mr. Hinrichs. iPhones and Ford Focuses, a little bit different kind of product. Just say a little bit different kind of product. Apple can afford to.
When your phone crashes, no one dies.
Yeah. Well, an Apple.
There is
Apple
that.
can stuff 12,000 of those things onto an air transport. How many Ford Focuses are you airlifting from China?
Slow boat.
Don't it?
Yeah.
So.
I just want you all to know I did a little bit of research and I cracked this story wide open.
Oh, nice.
So right there, I'm screen sharing. I found a town called China, Texas.
Right.
So I think this is just a huge misunderstanding.
But it's ironic that they make rice there. China.
It is.
Oh, the irony.
Yep. So there you go.
There
Oil
it
and
is.
gas is not far from the rice. It is Texas.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Ford, of course, is investing a whole bunch of money in their Kentucky truck plant. Basically, in so many words, if you read this automotive news article, which is excellent, by the way, basically Ford's saying that it's not cost effective for them to build small things here in the United States, but they are definitely going full bore on building every large vehicle that they make, trucks, the SUVs and all that. They're going to build those in the US, which on one hand is good, on the other hand is
Yeah.
it really, I mean, that's where they see the growth potential of the market. And I noticed this morning on
Well,
the
they don't want to pay the duty $1,000 pickups, but on the $15,000 car, they can.
they
Mhm.
can, I guess. And
Yeah.
and interestingly enough, I noticed on the way back from work that gas was down it was at $1.99 a gallon again.
Wow.
Thank you, Saudi Empire.
Hmm.
Hey, cheap gas. So cheap gas is emboldening companies like Ford to just basically say, fuck it, the small cars, we don't need them. We're going to build us some big trucks because that's what everybody wants. And you know what? In a small, tiny little defense of Ford, after spending decades inculcating the idea that SUVs are safer in the American public, yeah, the American public buys up the idea that they need a big, huge truck or a big, huge SUV, and gas is cheap, so why not? Because it'll always be cheap.
It has been for
Forever.
quite some time, though, hasn't it? It's interesting that
A couple of years.
it doesn't take much for the public to forget, but it's like you said, it's been a few years now, and
Yeah.
I think the idea of $4 gas is just obliterated from people's minds. Like, they have no connection to that ever happened or will happen again.
Right.
Yeah, and
Or
I
the
don't,
financial markets ever collapsing again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That would
Well,
never happen.
that could never happen.
Exactly.
It's
So I know that you said, not go political, and I don't want to go political on this, but you can't avoid the fact, and it is in the article, and it's just kind of danced around in the article, that while campaigning, and I think even after his inauguration, Donald Trump said that he would punish, I think he used the words punish companies that send jobs overseas. So
Right.
I think we have about a year to see exactly whether he's going to do anything, or if this is, Ford kind of giving him the finger and saying, well, we're just going to do whatever we want to do. And if you're pro-business, you would let us do it.
Or is it Ford saying, we're never going to sell any of these in America anyways, so we're just going to produce them in the area
Right.
that we will sell them in?
Or there's that too. Yeah.
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 No, we want to sell Expeditions and F-350s and whatever else big
Mhm.
things they sell.
and you know what, Mark brings up a legitimate point. The bulk of focus is probably sell in the Asian and European market, but it's also because Ford hasn't marketed the cool versions of the Focus in the U.S. The European market gets the really cool versions of that car, and there are some.
Power and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some amazing versions of that of the Focus that aren't available in the U.S. at all. And yeah, you know what? I'm bored with this.
And Hertz can only buy so many of those cars for their fleet.
Yeah.
Right.
Fleet sales. Speaking of other things that won't happen, Green Car Reports. This was actually about 8 days ago. And they have a new young writer there whose name is Zimkowski. God, love that. Sean Zimkowski wrote a story about, one of our favorite companies. Fisker, the Henrik Fisker's E-Motion, and this is the new Fisker automobile, not to be compared with the Karma company or the Fisker that's making the Karma Rivero. No, that used to be the Fisker Karma. Now it's the Karma Rivero. This is the Fisker E-Motion. Are you guys confused yet? Because my head's swimming. Anyway, suffice to say, Henrik Fisker, in his own inimitable style, made a lot of big promises. It's going to have a 400-mile electric range. It's going to use graphene cells no one else has. It's going to be able to charge in like 9 minutes. It's going to be able to add 100 miles of range in 9 minutes. Well, as it turns out,
on the Fisker charging network.
Bullshit. Fisker's walked it back. Guess what kind of batteries are going to be in the E-Motion?
9-volt Duracells.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
D-cells.
D-cells. D-cells. It's a sexy car, and Fisker's always been good at producing these beautiful cars, even if they don't ever get past the styrofoam stage. It's going to have lithium-ion batteries. It's not going to charge in 9 minutes, and the range to start with maybe just a hair less than 400 miles. Hair less not actually being defined in a legal sense, so we're not really sure. But suffice to say, surprising no one who's either on this show or watches this show, the Fisker E-Motion is already more of a basket of bullshit than an actual hot car full of cool batteries.
Gee, what a shock.
What a shock.
Did not see that coming.
And for the follow-up to this, I want to go to one of our other favorite car companies and a story that Paul Guzik is going to chat about because it's in his backyard.
Oh, the Faraday Future. So I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. There's a cool event here in Colorado called the Pikes Peak Hill Climb where now they have an EV division and people race up this crazy 14,000-foot mountain with 900 turns and see who can get to the top of the mountain the fastest. And in recent years, EVs have been winning because feet breathe. So you need to supercharge it or turbocharge it, where an EV doesn't care. Well, Faraday Future claims to be entering the Pikes Peak Hill Challenge this year with their car. So part of me wants it to crash and burn, but part of me would like hopefully no one driving gets hurt or no spectators get hurt, but if they can pull it off, they will earn some credibility. But to take an unproven car on that course and try and break a record kind of spells disaster.
It's to take a big, huge limousine-like car.
Yeah, and they're claiming, well, because it's four-wheel steering, it can take the corners, and
said corners.
The big battery, but God, it's an engineering prototype at best, I would imagine. So, if they can pull it off, they'll get some press, but it could go up in flames, like
that.
Was it Richard Hammond's event a couple weeks ago? So we'll see. And I forget. I think it's coming up in the next month or so. When is the event this year?
It is in
it's
3
a good
days.
test of technology.
It is in 3 days, 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Wow.
So it's this weekend.
Wow. I don't even know what to say.
Watching the news. See if Faraday has a future after this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Not much of one. I don't want anyone, of course, to be hurt. Number one.
No one.
Just reputations and pride.
Other than their reputation. Yeah.
I don't.
And it's a challenging road. Like, you can drive your private car up the road, and coming down, they make you stop halfway down and let your brakes cool. The park ranger comes out with a thermo device and scans your brakes. And if your brakes are too hot, they make you sit for half an hour before you can continue down the hill. That's how steep it is.
Mm-hmm. So there's always a devil's advocate, and I got Patrick in the chat who says, "I hope FF kicks ass."
Hey,
Yeah.
It would be awesome if they did. Like it would be a little bit shocking, but it would be good if they could do it.
Yeah, well, of course, it would be awesome
if they can pull it off. They will earn some credibility, that's for sure, because they have none right now.
If the car gets all the way up to the top, and then the founder of the company, whatever his name is, gets out of the back with a chilled martini, that would be awesome.
And they can park into the spot at the top.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the regen on the way down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the regen's got to be amazing. I mean, I
mean, it takes balls to say you're taking the brand new car up Pikes Peak and these other basically electric supercars.
Yeah, I mean, they're competing against vehicles that are more designed for racing than this one is. This one,
and there's some purpose-built cars that are built just for that course, you know. Yeah, so we'll see.
Well, and I just wanted to, when they tweeted this originally, and they never responded to me. I can't figure out why. My question to them was, who was going to be sitting in those expensive NASA zero gravity chairs in the back seat? Because you're not going to leave that.
Hopefully, nobody.
Oh no! Come on, you got to put people in them, don't you think? You know, like holding a martini or something.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hopefully, they have a very skilled driver behind the wheel. You know.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of good drivers, and they had a couple of racing drivers at that at one of their videos that we watched, and I don't even remember who, and I was embarrassed for them, so I didn't pay attention. But
yeah.
But there you go. Paul, thanks for that. And I mean, obviously, it's that's your backyard. You know that much better than us. It is as ridiculous as it looks.
It is a cool road to drive.
Next week we'll have the results, hopefully.
Yeah, so maybe we'll be high-fiving Faraday Future or laughing at their gravestone. But we'll see how it goes.
I do have to admit, nothing seems to kill them.
Hope that no one gets hurt.
Of course, that's the prime thing. They don't hurt anybody. Nobody on their team gets hurt. They don't accidentally hurt anyone. None of this is meant to imply that we want people to get hurt. None of this is meant to imply that we want Faraday Future to go out of business. It's just inexplicable. We haven't figured out their business model yet. They apparently aren't in the business of making anything.
Oh, I know who they've got as a driver.
Who?
Travis, what's his name from Uber? He's looking for a
Travis Callan.
He's looking for something to do.
Yeah.
He's the test driver for Faraday Future.
I got nothing. Oh boy, he's got lawyers. I got to shut up right here. In fact, you know what? I'm just not even.
He's probably got a bit of money too.
Yeah, he's a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna make the Mark. Help me out here. Save me, please.
I am going to just talk a little bit about the Chevy Bolt's IIHS test that they've recently done. And just for fun, I've got a video that I'll show because it's always fun seeing these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go.
Go.
Just out for a drive.
Whoa!
Oh, no!
Smash!
Concrete barrier in the middle of the road.
Sweet Jesus, that looks painful.
And the bounce off the barrier and the parts are flying. There goes the charge door heading out the side.
No!
Oh, yeah.
I need that.
You won't be able to charge that car again.
No, the charge door, it just leaves. It's gone.
Mm-hmm. Screw you, I'm out of here.
Crumple zones, my friend.
But the great thing about it is that it received a great standing because of the crumple zone that's now in the front of the car with the lack of an engine that's sitting there. So similar to the Tesla, the car has been able to get a great safety rating for the crash test. The only thing that it came up with just a pass on was remarkably the headlights. Everything else is in very good standing.
They don't like
so you mean if you wreck it that bad, you're gonna have to replace the headlights?
No. So what they said was They said they provide fair to good visibility, but produce excessive glare for oncoming drivers. And that's why a front-end collision crumple zone is so important.
Oh.
So the car is great in a crash, and it's good to know that
It's superior.
that this car is, and it has, of course, the crash avoidance system in the car, which makes it on the superior side, and it's impressive that they've been able to do this. Hopefully, the 2018 model, they improve the headlights and will clean up. But excellent to see that it passes with flying colors.
Way to go, Chevy.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. And it's interesting. I had this conversation. So my new son-in-law works at Geico. I don't know if I should even mention that. Maybe I'm going to get him fired. But
Used to work at Geico.
nothing like
Like
having
someone
an
who
employee-
works for a big insurance company.
Yeah. No, well, the conversation that we had was this, back in the day, right? Back when I was first driving, okay, we're talking like 70s. So I'm driving early 70s cars, late 60s cars, because you're an 18-year-old and you're poor. You don't buy, most kids don't go out and buy brand new cars. But, the whole thing was that your car got messed up. They straightened your steel bumper. They put on a new quarter panel. They covered a hole with Bondo. You were dead meat. You were like splattered jam against the steel dashboard in my Mustang. Okay, metal fucking dashboard.
Mm.
Who thought
No
that
airbag.
up?
No airbag, impaled by the non-collapsing
steering
steering
column.
column.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you had seat belts. My 67 had seat belts. I'm not sure that they were standard then.
They were lap belts too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lap
Fold
belts.
over.
Right. Yeah. Just
So your
fold
face would bend forward and smash off the steel dash, but your torso remained against
Yeah.
the seat.
you're cut in half. So
Yeah.
that people always like, oh, I can't believe how expensive it is to fix my car. They totaled my car. I didn't get in a horrible accident. What people aren't grasping these days is this: the cars are expendable.
They're
People
still
are
alive.
not. Yes, you walk away from accidents now that killed people dead, without question, 20 years ago. And yeah, guess what? Your car's totaled. Who gives a shit? It's insured. Go get a new one. You're alive to do that. But back in the day, yeah, the car was repairable, and it was only $500 for some meathead to pound out some metal. Okay, but you were dead meat, and they buried you, and somebody else got the car.
Well, they'd have to wash off the blood first. But
Yeah, but off a metal dashboard, that's easy.
And it busts right out.
Nothing to even. Yeah, it doesn't even soak in. I'm sorry. I'm really ranty today. I need to kind of calm down, but. I thought that was like, come on, people, who cares if the car gets wrecked? That's okay.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
you that's important, or your loved ones, or your family, or someone else that maybe you've accidentally hit.
Again, it's people forgetting over a number of years that even happened.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
We all
did you
have
say
short-
years or beers?
Both.
same,
Years of beers.
same. I guess. Let's see.
Remember months ago
Yeah.
we showed the video of the 1950s car hitting the 1990s car? The 1950s car didn't do very well.
It was like a Chevy Bel Air or something. That
Yeah, because people go, oh, those old
Yeah.
cars are built like tanks. And it's like, yeah, they impaled the driver.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of vehicles with problems, Chrysler, a car that we were, Tony and I personally, were very excited about, but we've never actually seen in the wild, nor have we gotten Chrysler to actually cough one up because we would love to drive it. The 2017 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid plug-in minivan, it's in some ways one of the most exciting cars to come out this year, in my opinion. Maybe Tony agrees, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
But I think a minivan that has a 33-mile electric range is damn exciting. Chrysler's recalling all of them. And there's a few numbers in here or there's a few things in here that I think are really important. Roughly 1,700 Pacifica hybrids is how many they've made and sold.
Oh.
That's not, yeah. What are they like making these things by hand? They have the Toyota Mirai team working on this.
Oh,
I went there.
It's a national
wow.
car, right? It's not a Brown's car.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be national. Yeah, I don't know what the holdup is or why it's taking so long to manufacture these or what they're doing.
Well, here's the deal. What Green Car Reports found out, our friend John Volker, in researching this article, is not only are 1,700 of these hybrids basically everything they've made and put out into the marketplace, not only have they been recalled, and for just a second, let me digress. They're being recalled for a faulty diode in an unnamed electronics module, which can stop functioning. And what it does is it shuts down the powertrain. This apparently is a problem.
Shutting down the powertrain?
Yeah. There's a risk of a crash, says Chrysler. Of course, no injuries. Chrysler says there have been no injuries reported, but they're recalling them to replace a faulty part, and good, they should. And boy, you want to talk about like Achilles heel, right? A diode, right?
Yeah.
Like a diode.
20-cent part.
Yeah.
For the want of a nail.
Thank you. Just one little tiny thing, but Chrysler is apparently also not selling any more 2017s. They're pulling this vehicle completely off the market until they update it for the 2018.
Yeah, they must be exhausted from those 1,700 they've already built.
I got nothing.
They're obviously running at a level that is comfortable for them internally. Like, there's got to be more demand than 1,700 vans for the entire North America. Like, because some of those vans were sold. Some of those vans were sold in Ontario as well.
Yes.
So, well, actually, they're built in Ontario, Windsor, Ontario.
309 vehicles were registered in Canada. 1,368 registered in the U.S.
Yeah. So, like, that's
wow.
There's a big demand for them here. There's a huge demand, but like you said, they're running at a speed that they want to run at. Obviously, there's much more demand than what has been sold.
I would truly like to believe that. I would. I haven't seen, or there's no numbers that says people are banging down the doors. At Chrysler to buy these, and so yeah.
I know there were waiting lists of people waiting for the vehicle, and they weren't getting it. And Chrysler even was throwing in level 2 chargers because of the extra long wait that people were sitting on those waiting lists.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I never heard that. Yeah.
So there was demand, or still is demand, but this is obviously going to really throw a wrench into the works and slow things down even further.
Wow.
It's a shame.
It's too bad, because that's the only car in that segment that plug-in hybrid minivan.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and Fiat Chrysler America, FCA, is not a company known for its, shall we say, advanced tech fuel-efficient vehicles.
Right.
I mean, we've got the 500E, which, again, they make 24 of them a month, and they sell 24 of them a month, or whatever it is. It's probably the most poorly distributed car, and then this Pacifica hybrid or Pacifica plug-in. Otherwise,
But they have the gazillion horsepower Dodge Demon.
it gets its ass whipped
Right.
by a Tesla.
Oh.
you were primed and ready to go with that little stat, weren't you?
Hell yeah, I was. There's
Well,
that
next-
twist
next
that
year-
knife.
Next year, of course, it's the Pacifica Scat Cat that's coming out.
Is that a joke?
The Hemi Pacifica.
The Pacifica Scat Cat. Oh my god. When I was young, I had a Challenger for one summer, but it was off. I mean, I won't go into it. I mean, I'm sad because I'd like to see this thing go. It's a shame that a diode has taken, not only, has caused this recall, but has basically put Chrysler in a position of just saying, hell with it.
Well,
We're
I
done.
bet
also
there's
had-
more to the story.
Yeah, you also have to consider that these things are sold. They're going to want to get them back to the customers as quickly as possible. And when they say they're not going to do anything for until a 2018 model, maybe the 2018 is going to be released in September. Like it could be a plus that really it's not going to take that long for the 2018s to roll out.
That is the kind of Canadian optimism I look to you for, Mark Coughlin. Thank you, Mark. I could have never been more serious on this show than just now. So, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe the new one is going to come out in September, and it's going to be like they've gone like, whoa, we made it way much better. You know, now it gets 34.5 electric.
36.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, that's what is that? 10%? I mean, you can't even like. We've heard of companies that have looked at those kind of increases in plug-in range.
Yes, we have.
Anyway, no, he says not violating any NDAs.
None.
Let's see. What have I got? I think I have Paul.
Yeah, I've got
Paul,
another interesting story.
Yeah.
So,
talk to us.
For anybody considering an EV, UC Davis in Davis, California, has put together a very cool little widget website thingy where you can plug in a car versus an EV and your commute and the price of fuel and the price of energy. It will basically show you how much you save driving said EV on the screen. But read the instructions. You can pick the types of cars you want to compare and your commute distance, and it has some built-in assumptions based on electricity where you are. But I thought it was pretty cool. I'm sure some graduate students put it together. It's a neat little utility to see what it really costs to drive an EV versus your traditional gas car.
Look at that right there.
Honda Civic versus a Porsche versus a Ford Focus electric.
And
you can play around with what ifs with the car, if your commute changes, if your location changes. But it's fairly easy to use, fairly intuitive, and to UC Davis for putting this out there.
wow.
Yeah.
The Panamera is going to save me money. I'd be an idiot not
There
to
you go. You should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to roll the purchase cost into each of those as well.
It doesn't factor that in.
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to play with the thing.
Or
on
the
screen.
depreciation. Because the Cadillac ELR has the fastest depreciation of any car ever made. But,
You're kidding me.
I think we worked it out to $26 a mile depreciation.
Wow. Mhm. So plan on keeping the car for a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I did.
But this is cool if you want to show your spouse or your coworker why you want an EV. You can help justify it financially.
Yeah, I did mine commute and 41 miles round trip. I did my 2004 Prius, which I did 60 miles
It's
per
already
gallon.
pretty efficient.
Yeah, it's a 388 miles. I did a standard Prius 2017, and I think I did 65 miles per gallon as an estimate, and it was $359 annually. And then I did the Prius Prime part charging and not assuming that I'm charging at work, and that came in at $292 annually.
Did you
And
put
then-
a 2017 Volt in there too?
Well, I did want to benchmark it against something, so I went ahead
You're
and
supposed to put a 2002 Ford F-250 in there.
So I benchmarked it against a 2017 Aston Martin Vanquish Zagato. And that sneaks in at a very slim $1,833 a year for the commute. Yes.
Wow.
So what is the Volt? I'm sure you already did the Volt.
I haven't done it already, but you should throw it into the calculation and see the money
All
you'll
right.
save there.
Yeah, I'm sure. So let's see. Choose a new car. 2017
Dun, 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 dun,
Chevy Volt.
Share your screen.
Update in there. Okay, let's see. Share EV Explorer. There we go. So the Volt comes in at $331. I don't quite understand how the.
Oh,
Come on.
I-
there's gonna be some. Yeah, I can't. There's already an outraged Canadian on this show. I can see it.
So I did.
How can a car that burns zero gas be higher than the one that's burning gas?
Okay. So electricity is 10 cents a kilowatt hour, which is actually a little higher than what I have here. Oh wait, we did gas. Gas is 218. So let's make gas more like I think 260 is.
260. It says $1.99 a
No.
gallon here.
Well, all right. You know what? Let's go there. GasBuddy.com. Okay. Oh, 223. Okay. Wait, where am I? There. Okay.
So call it 2.25, right?
See, this is weird. Sometimes it won't let me. I have to go into like another screen. I think.
It was graduate students, so you know. I mean.
Right. Okay, so 223 update. I don't get it. I don't know, Mark.
That doesn't make any
I think
sense.
somebody hates the Volt.
It might be
Did Chevy piss somebody in Davis off?
$331 in charging compared to just. I mean, the numbers are the same. I don't feel that I over exaggerated. The Prius Prime, 65 mpg, 30-mile range. I honestly don't know how many hours it takes to charge.
6 hours to charge. You can put it at 25 miles, just because that's what the EPA rating is.
Okay,
Let's just see what that.
25.
Yeah, and I know you can get 65 out of it because that's who you are.
Okay.
Still, wow.
Somebody skewed it, Mark. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Study funded by Toyota USA.
Toyota hacked UC Davis. Seriously, if you put in, like, if you're driving a Subaru or a Ford SUV or something, then it's going to be really dramatic.
This is the closest to angry I've ever seen Mark Coughlin.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm paying $4 a gallon, though, so it's certainly skewed for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, either way, this is a really cool thing, and we'll have a link. We'll post a link up on Facebook, so you can put your cars in and put potential vehicles in there and make the argument, of what's better, and this is a really cool, this EV Explorer thing is a nice way of crunching the numbers, and hopefully you're not a Chevy fan. I really have nothing to do with this. I am just going with it as the cards are played. Okay, kids? I got nothing at all. So,
Mark, would it make you happier if I compare it to a Bugatti or something? And I stack the deck.
Put a Veyron versus the Volt.
Right.
What could use more gas?
Oh, now you're just playing with me. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
That's it. Oh my God, we've got 2 Paul Guziks on the show.
Double trouble.
Yeah.
That's better than So Paul, that's 2 of us that have been kicked off this show so far.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
Paul won. What?
Paul, you have different opinions.
Yeah. So
Right.
Paul won. What do you think?
I think I'm about to kick Paul 1 off the show.
Yeah, kick him off.
There we go. That's it. Because I like Paul too. He's animated. He moves. And he's back just in time to say goodnight. Let's do some shout outs and go home, kids. How's that for a deal? I think we've done a good stuff. And Mark, you're usually the wait. I've got one more thing.
I got nothing.
Wow, that Bolt thing really has you rattled, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm doing research right now.
Are you
But,
rethinking
no.
the whole Prius Prime thing?
No, he's figuring out
He's
how he
writing
can
a
get.
letter to the head of UC Davis.
What's going on
You
with
have
you guys?
and-
Are you guys being funded by Toyota? Is that what's going on?
He's
You
booking a
pepper spray
flight.
those bastards.
No, just we've got some summer events coming up here in Ontario. If you're happen to be in the Burlington area on July the 8th, there's an electric car show going along on the main streets of Burlington, which is close to Hamilton for those of you who do not know the area. But visit our Facebook page and Twitter feed for more information at WR Voltec.
Awesome. Tony, I know, Tony, you would love to just chat away about some stuff. So take it away, Tony.
Well, I do want to, say Eric Stevens in the chat had said that actually the figure for the Volt EV efficiency doesn't appear correctly in the UC Davis site. So it is apparently either skewed or lack of data or inaccurate data. So
Way to go, Eric!
yes.
Hey, we're all about accuracy. I mean, fun aside,
A Canadians standing up for each other.
Oh, is that what this is? It's like a Canadian mafia thing?
It is.
Mark's
yeah.
been like texting. Jimmy, get in the chat room.
Everybody, get on this now!
It's not October. You got nothing to do.
Listen, I want to hear from
Get on
you
that.
unless you've got glow-in-the-dark toonies, okay?
I do want to give a couple of shout outs. Bruce Myers, of course, thank you for your message. Alan Clark sent us a article about turning coffee into fuel in London. I'm going to put that on Facebook and put that on Flipboard. It's interesting. More than just coffee, it is an interesting discussion about biofuels in general. Also want to throw a couple shout outs to Ken Halbert and Arthur Diaz. Just saying, hey, how are you?
I want a second Bruce, because we had a little conversation messaging, and he's a great guy, and I hope he can find a Prime somewhere. And thanks for the inspiration for that rant. Mr. Guzik of BoulderHC.com. I wonder if you don't have a business you'd like to talk about.
I'll plug my business as always, BoulderHC.com. If you're in the Rocky Mountain region, we fix hybrids and EVs and can give you advice, and stop in and say hello and bring beer. We like beer.
Because he's got a new opener.
Exactly.
I've got a new opener. I've got to get some miles on it.
There we go. If you're anywhere near Boulder, Colorado, and you have an advanced tech vehicle, you want Paul Guzik in your corner. That's all I'm going to say, because if you don't believe me, you'll get what you deserve. If you do believe me, you'll make out like a bandit. You can follow us, let's see, on Twitter at @WhatDrivesUs. You can follow us or friend us on Facebook, facebook.com/whatdrivesus, all one word. It's facebook.com/whatdrivesus. There used to be this guy on the show. His name was Danny something or other. I don't remember. If you have a Prius and you need accessories, he's got some kind of Etsy site or something. Mm-hmm. It's at priuschat.com/shop. If you want to buy Prius accessories, go there. I don't know. I guess it's maybe slightly more reliable than like those sketchy dudes on eBay that ship directly from China for a penny.
Yes, all products sold on.
Hang on, that's a
Prius
Ford
Chat.
What was that, Tony? I'm sorry.
So all products available at the priuschat.com shop were individually whittled by Danny's children.
I knew he'd get those grills working. Exactly.
Yes.
Daddy, how many more mud flaps do I have to make before I can go to bed?
All of them.
Oh, exactly. Get to work.
I don't know where you got this episode, but if you want to make sure you never miss a show, subscribe on Stitcher, Slacker, YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. If you subscribe to the channel on YouTube, make sure and check the box to receive notifications, and you will be notified when the show goes live so that you can join the chat with it's me and it looks like 9 others right now are watching the show and chatting away.
Nice. Yeah, there's 10 of you guys in there. Nice. Right on. I want to thank everybody in the chat room thank you. Seriously, thank you for coming in there and for chatting. I got to work pepper spray and UC Davis into the title of the show somehow. I'm sorry, I'm way too much of a news junkie to pass that little tidbit by. But if you have any other suggestions in the chat room, you've got about 30 seconds to get them out. So I definitely want to thank my co-conspirators on the show this week, Mr. Mark Coughlin, WR Voltec Man on Twitter, Tony Schaefer, Man About Town, Prius Chat, you name it, he's everywhere, and he's on the Tesla Life in this show, and of course, Mr. BowlerHC.com, Paul Guzik. Thank you to all of you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Polite.
right.
Even when he's angry.
We might have the title.
Oh,
Compliments of Lee Moon.
My pen is ready.
He came up with UC Davis pepper sprays the Volt.
That's where I was
See,
going.
so it's got UC Davis, it's got pepper spray, it's got the Volt. I think,
got the
yeah.
Volt. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, there you go.
As well as being a musical composer of great value, Mr. Moon. Thank you very much.
Not to
for
be
the title.
outdone, Patrick Connor, Pikes Peak has a future. See,
Oh, that's good.
oh boy, we
But
gotta
I
flip the
really
coin.
don't like Patrick, so I'm probably going to go with me. I didn't mean that. I like Patrick, especially when he's on the show.
Maybe next month.
Maybe.
Yeah, next month. That's right. He comes back. So, thanks to all of you guys for being on the show. Thanks to all of you in the chat room. Thanks to all of you who are going to watch or listen to this episode. Don't forget, visit us at whatdrives.us to download or stream the show there in audio or video format. All of our archives are there. Tony's amazing articles on hypermiling are there. Whatdrives.us. Of course, our amazing theme music, always by Michael Mannering. Visit him at manthing.com. My name again is Russell Frost. You can find me at PriusOwnersGroup.com or right here on the Facebook page too. Send me a message or whatever. I'll even answer it. Until then, download us next week and find out what drives us. Goodbye. See you next week.